All right, so we are at the East Inlet Trailhead, and we're doing Adams Falls, but so we can go to Lone Pine Lake. We're not going to Lone Pine Lake, but the trail between Adams Falls and Lone Pine Lake, we'll do probably about a half mile of that trail as well. So we're going to go beyond the falls. We hear it's a nice meadow, and so you can see elevation is 8,391 feet. So this particular trailhead is just outside Grand Lake. So it's out of the main park, and it's kind of a side off of the park, just outside of Grand Lake. So it's supposed to be a pretty easy walk. We shall see. All right, so we are halfway to the falls, 0.15 miles, and we can hear them already off in the distance. Usually that's a good sign, because that means at least it's a fall worth big enough. At least that's a falls big enough to be able to hear it. Something about this elevation causes oxygen deprivation to my brain and my ability to speak. There's Casey. The heart rate is pumping.
I don't know if I'm going to be able to do 7 miles with breathing like this.
That's why we're doing this one first. So we've got a plan to do Cascade Falls later in the week. It's a 7-mile hike, and this kind of breathing makes you question. We haven't gone very far or very high. But
It's only going up though. 0.27 miles.
all right, we're at 0.3 miles. It means we should be there. Looks like the overlook is just ahead. Danger, swift water. So we've been to the falls, 2 ways back to the East Inlet Trail. We're going to take the way that we have not gone yet. So this is definitely, to me, a better trail. Right along the river, all along. That's where I was standing to do the other video, over there on the edge where the mist is coming up. Up here you can see where it's almost like a lake. All the logs have kind of dammed it up, and then it flows over and heads down. If you get to right there on a kayak, you're glad there's logs. So highly recommend when you leave the viewpoint, take the trail to the right. You want to feel it? Go down and feel it. It's probably like 50 degrees. Is it chilly?
Yeah. Honestly, it's not as bad as you might think, but it is very cold.
She said it's not as bad as you might think, but it's very cold.
It is.
All right, so this is the second entrance to Adams Falls. No horses beyond this point. Looks like the horses all stopped right here. Left us some apples. Okay, so this is where we're continuing. Instead of going back to the trailhead, we are making our way, just continuing down the trail a little further. We're told you can basically go as far as you want. I just asked Claire the question, I wonder what this would look like in September. So we're here June the 7th, and obviously right now is a big time for snow melt and runoff, and so I'm just curious what this might look like in September when the majority of the snow is melted. Obviously there's still snow melting, but this just seems to be a massive amount of water flow. All right, so all of that water is flowing from this lake.
Where's the water in the lake coming from?
Where's the water in the lake coming from?
Right, I got this.
Another river. All right, so we've been 0.69 miles. Actually, yeah, 0.69. And we've seen a pretty massive waterfall, and now a gorgeous lake with a snow-capped mountain behind it, reflection off the lake. There are not many hikes that we've been on of this length where you get the payoff that you get on this hike. So, highly recommend this hike. Highly don't recommend kayaking on this lake. All right, so we were going to turn around at a mile. We thought there might be a cool view up here, so we came just a little bit further, and it's pretty cool right here. Yeah. It's now 5:20 and we're starting to think about dinner, so we are turning around and we are headed back to the parking lot. If I see a bear or a moose or an elk or a bighorn sheep, y'all will be the first to know. I didn't really say, but Caitlin didn't join us on this hike today, and Claire joined in instead. We'll see if we can get everyone on a hike before we leave. All right, so we're back at the split in the trail. We're continuing straight this time, and this is the only part of the trail we have not seen yet. Pretty cool view out in the distance of, I think that it would be Grand Lake. Sailboat out on the water. So if you were wanting to hike straight through, just hike over to the falls and then skip this part of the trail, in my opinion. It's all right on the way back because you can see the lake, but all the horses go this way. All right, and right up here you can see this is where we took the split in the trail before, and now we're linked back up to the trail that we've already been on. So Adams Falls is right up that way. That's the loop trail that loops back in. We're going back to the East Inlet Trailhead. All right, so we are back in the truck, and Casey's going to give us an update on the numbers.
So my watch says that we went 2.08 miles, that we were 218 feet elevation gain. What did you say, Claire?
I said mine said
208?
2.07.
So anyway, our max elevation was 8,517 feet.
All right, so we like to give our hikes a rating. So, what would y'all like to rate this particular hike?
Sorry.
That's a great short hike with good payoff. It's not.
Around the lake.
Yeah, but it's not a. It is a. There's very little of it that is smooth path. So if that's an issue, we did some walking over rocks and things sticking up, and
Yeah,
but
it's not.
I think it's a great hike for what you see.
It's one step away from being a paved trail, though. I mean, it's a pretty easily accessible, not handicap accessible, but
No strollers or wheelchairs.
no strollers or wheelchairs.
But
But when you think of easy hike, good payoff, today was not busy on the trail. I could see where this easy of a trail with this big a payoff could probably get pretty busy, but
probably during the day.
yeah, we did it
We
later
did
in
it
the
late in the afternoon.
this is a short hike, huge payoff. So for me, I give it a 4.
But the thing I like,
I
think he's out of 5.
And then you said
Yeah.
4, and I was like, wow, that's
Claire thought we were going out of
the
10.
nice thing about this hike too, though, is it gets because you do a little elevation gain, it gets your heart pumping. So it's not just a
Yeah.
the elevation
burn
at the beginning
burn a
is
little calories.
It's a little
All right. So out of 5, Claire, what would you give it?
I don't know, probably 4.
I think a 4 is good.
Great family hike. If you've got kids, short hikes with big payoffs are always a plus. So there you go. There's our review.